Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where we learn Power Platform one step at a time. So today we are discussing something super exciting, which is how to master Power Platform pipelines. So if you ever wondered how to use Power Platform pipelines instead of your classic DevOps ones, don't worry, by the end of this video, you will be setting up and executing Power Platform pipelines like a pro. So let's get started.
All right, everyone. So we are now on the admin portal of Power Platform. So the very first step is to create our hosting environment. So we will quickly create our hosting environment. So we will name it as pipeline hosting and none for now. Asia or wherever you are based on, you can select that region. We'll create this as a dev environment because this is my dev organization. I can't create production environments here. So for now, we'll be using developer environment. But if your organization allows you to create, then it should be a dedicated production environment because this will host all your pipelines across your Power Platform, whatever you want to deploy. That's why we will be creating this as a production, but for this video and the education purpose, we will be using developer because I can't actually create production environments. All right, uh, Dataverse, yes. On behalf now, let's just quickly create. We'll select USD, deploy. Now, yeah, let's quickly click save. So this will create our pipeline hosting environment for us, where we will be adding the solution which will host all our pipelines and all the development pipelines as well. Right, so our hosting environment is ready. You can say the state is ready. We'll quickly open it. And as I mentioned, we will be installing our pipeline solution here. So once your hosting environment is ready, what we will do, we'll quickly open it, click on resources, click on Dynamics 365 apps, click on install apps, then we'll quickly scroll down and we will find our Dynamics pipeline solution. So let's quickly scroll to B. Right. Yeah, there you go. All right, you can see Power Platform pipelines. So what we'll do, click next, agree to the terms, click install. What this will do, this will have our Power Platform pipelines solution, which comes out of the box from Microsoft. It will be installed on our hosting environment. This will take some time, so I'll quickly pause the video until this installation is done. Perfect. I resume the video after a long 10 minutes wait. Right. The final solution is now installed. You can see Power Platform pipelines is installed now. Let's head over to our pipeline hosting environment. Right, so you can see pipeline hosting. I'm in pipeline hosting right now, and you can see the deployment pipeline configuration app is now installed. So let's play this application. It is nothing but a model driven app which allows you to create your pipelines and deploy your solutions. All right, so we are in our deployment pipeline configuration application. So that's how it looks. As I mentioned, this is just a model driven app which allows you to create your pipelines. And in the left hand navigation bar, you can see the default pages pipeline dashboard. Here you will be able to see all your pipelines run history, your active pipelines, and if there is any problem, the latest status of that pipeline stage and everything, right? So let's quickly scroll down and see what all different things are there. So you can see then we have environments. All our development, UAT, production environments will be tagged here. And then the main one, which is our pipelines. So here we will be able to manage all our pipelines. Perfect. So that's the application. Now the next step is to add our dev environment. So I'll quickly create and I'll say this is my dev environment. right? Environment type, development, environment ID. Will quickly go to our admin center again and open the dev environment, which is this one. And we will just copy the environment ID, which is this one, paste it here, and save. This should save the environment, and this environment needs to be present in the same geolocation. Oh, okay, perfect. So yeah, by default, the same environment where you created your hosting, or same geolocation where you created your hosting environment, needs to be that, right? Needs to be in the same geolocation. That's the default setting. But recently there has been a new update. So if you go to advanced settings, and you can see this cross-geo solution deployment, right? What this is, allow pipelines in Power Platform to seamlessly deploy applications across different geographic regions. That's why we'll just enable this, save. Great. So you can see now this has now been enabled. Let's quickly hit refresh once so that we can have the navbar again. Perfect. So let's head to our environments tab again, open it, and let's refresh. All right. Seems like this is not taking the new change or the toggle which we just did. All right, let's just quickly delete it. We'll add it again. Okay, let's create a new one again. Akshansh dev. That's my dev environment. Uh, Type again. Let's hit save. Hit refresh. Success. Perfect. So now you can see after we enable that feature, which allows us to deploy from one geo environment to another geo environment, right? So that's why now it has been successfully added. Let's quickly move back. You can see Akshansh dev, development environment, ID success. Now let's quickly create another environment, which will be our UAT. And then we'll create a prod one as well. Well, not actual production environment, but we will use that environment as production because, as I mentioned, I can't really create a production environment because I don't have capacity, database storage capacity. So we will name this as Akshansh UAT. Perfect. None, no, Asia default, let it be developer. Quickly hit yes, USD, and save. This will be our UAT environment. From dev, we will move our solution to this UAT environment via pipelines and then ultimately to prod. So let's quickly create a prod one as well. Okay, again, done. Everything should be default. Let's quickly change to USD for this one as well. Perfect. So save. Okay. Yeah, that's a problem. So I'll just quickly create on behalf of someone so that I don't hit this limit again. So what that error was, so for one user, you can only create up to 3 developer type environments. So that's why I already created one, which was my dev, then UAT, and then it doesn't let, and the hosting. So production one was fourth one. That's why it didn't allow me to create. But yeah, the create on behalf feature is very good if you want to create multiple environments in your dev organization. Right, so you can see both the UAT and prod are ready. Let's quickly open UAT, copy our environment ID, which is this one. All right, new. We'll name this as Akshansh UAT. Again, UAT in production environments should be of type uh, production. For production, UAT sandbox. So that's the best practice, right? I am creating developer type environments because my dev organization doesn't have any capacity. But if you are creating or using my video to create a actual use case for your organization where you will be using this application for production deployments, live projects and everything, please use sandbox type environment for your UAT environment and production type for your production environments. That is the best practice. So yeah, you can see success now. We have added our dev UAT. Let's quickly add our production as well. Let's head over, copy our environment ID, prod. Great. Right. So copy target environment ID. This one. Perfect. Let's just hit save, refresh. Success. Perfect. Okay, that reminds me. Did I select developer for UAT? Yeah, that's not good. So this is my target environment. That's why we should have been using the target environment, but I accidentally selected dev. So since I already created this record, right, and this is a logged field, well, no option but to delete this. Okay, let's add our UAT again under target environment. So that's our target environment, UAT, perfect. That should do the job. Target pending, success. Right, so now you can see I have my dev, my UAT and my prod, all environments created. Now let's head over to pipelines. We'll create a new pipeline. We will name this as AS personal pipeline. Cool. Right, move test solutions from dev to UAT and then prod. All right, let's click save. That's what. Perfect. So now you can see the moment I click save, right, I have two new sections enabled for my pipeline. So this one is linked development environments, right? So since we already tagged our development environment, what we will do, we will click this add existing deployment, right? You can see the dev one. Perfect. We'll click add and this will nicely tag our dev environment here. Once this is done, the next section is your deployment stages. What does that mean? That means that the one stage will be used to move your solution from dev to UAT. That's your first deployment stage, right? Or one of multiple deployment stage. So what we will do, we will quickly create a new deployment stage. So in here you can see these are my pipeline details. Then here we will create dev to UAT as a new deployment stage, right? So previous deployment stage, nothing, right? Target deployment ID. What we need to select is my UAT because my stage is dev to UAT. I'll select this. If you really want to explore the advanced version or how to extend these pipelines to enable like pre-export step required, pre-deployment step required. So this is basically having approvals before you push anything to UAT or production, and delegated deployment as well. If you select this, there are two options: stage owner and service principal. So by default, how pipeline works, basically if let's say you created this from your personal account or service account, right? And you didn't select this delegated deployment. By not choosing this option, what you are basically setting up is that let's say you set this up and you gave access to someone else, like let's say third user, right? So all the connection references, all the ownership, all the component ownership in your UAT and prod environment will be against that user who is actually running the pipeline, right? So let's say I created this, right? And I gave access to some test123 user. If test123 user is actually clicking the run button of the pipeline, right, and moving the dev solution to UAT, so all the components ownership, all the connection references, everything will be under the name of test123. That account will be the owner of everything. Then stage owner, the difference is that doesn't matter if test123 is clicking the run button. If I select stage owner, that means all the ownership will belong to my account because I am the owner of dev to UAT stage. You can see here, you can see Akshan Sharma, I'm the owner, right? So everything will be under my name. And then the best practice, the most advanced option is service principal. So what you do, you create a service principal, right? And every account, every component ownership will be, let's say, against the service account for which you created the service principal. That is the most advanced one and the best practice as well, because generally you have a production service account which will be hosting all your components and the solution in production environment, right? So you create service principal for that prod service account, and you run this stage via the service principal so that all the ownership will be from your production environment, that prod service account. So that's the most one. So if you want to explore this in my next video, I can show you how to extend, how to include approvals and everything. So comment against this video, and I'll try to prepare the next one which includes everything. All right, back to the main task, right? So we were creating a new deployment stage, dev to UAT, no previous deployment stage required. We will select this option when we are creating our next deployment stage, which is UAT to production. I'll show you how that looks like, but this is it. So we'll just click save. This should save nicely. Perfect. You can see it's saved now. Save and close. Right, so you can see dev to UAT under deployment stages. We'll quickly create another one, which will be UAT to prod. Then here, since we want this deployment stage to be dependent on the previous one, which is your dev to UAT, right? So imagine it's like two-step process. First, you would do dev to UAT. Until this step is done, you won't be able to execute this one, which is your UAT to prod. And this is what it means when it says previous deployment stage, right? So we will link it to this deployment stage, and our target environment for this would be Akshan's prod. Perfect. That's all we want to do. Nicely save and close. So yeah, you can see I have dev to UAT, UAT to prod, and my dev environment as this. So our pipeline is set up now. So now if let's say what the scenario I was explaining, right? If I want to give access to this pipeline and the ability to run the pipeline to someone else, right? What I will do is I will share this pipeline with that user. But to share this pipeline with that user needs to be part of our pipeline hosting environment as a user. So the moment you install the deployment pipeline configuration app in your hosting environment, that adds two security roles as well in that environment. So I'll show you those security roles. If I quickly go to users, and I will add a new user. So I have a demo user, right? So I want to give access to this user, but I don't want this person to actually see the pipeline hosting environment under the drop down like this, right? So I don't want them to see this environment. So for that, as I was saying, there are two new security roles created the moment you install deployment pipeline configuration app, right? So you can see deployment pipeline administrator and deployment pipeline user. Oh, I think there is a new update. Third one is also there, which is deployment pipeline default. But for us, for our use case, what we will do is we will select deployment pipeline user as the security role and give them access. So by doing that, what we are doing is we are giving them access on the environment, but they won't be able to see the pipeline hosting under the environments list. So, right. So now we head back to our deployment pipeline configuration application. Now we will share the pipeline with that user. How to do that? Select your pipeline, click on this share icon here, and click search. And the moment you search that user, they will be available. Select that user and only give read permission, nothing else, right? But only read permission. So share. This will allow them to see the pipeline as an option and ability to run the pipeline to move their solutions as well. So the setup is done now. The only thing pending now is to show you how it will move a solution from dev to UAT and how the UI will look like. So let's head back to our dev environment. Let's open any one of the solution, or we'll create one to show you how this works. Pipeline solution, video pipeline solution. We'll select the default publisher, nothing fancy, create. Right, so you can see our solution is now ready. We will quickly add what should we add? Let's add an environment variable. Video test variable. We will do as a text, current value, test only, will save. Right, I will duplicate this so that you can see how the solution will be moving. And in this tab, what I will do, I will open my UAT environment. Right, let's head to solutions. Now here you can see unmanaged, we have the default solutions. Under managed, or all on all default solutions only. Cool. So this is done. I created one environment variable in this solution. Now you see here this rocket icon, nice little icon here, which says pipeline. If you head over to this icon, you can see AS personal pipeline, which we just created, right? Perfect. So you can see AS personal pipeline. You can see dev to UAT, my deployment stage, UAT to prod, my another deployment stage, and nice little deploy here icon, which is enabled. And you can see deploy here, which is not enabled. The reason is that we selected previous deployment stage. I was explaining the two-step process, right? So this is the two-step process, which is interdependent on each other. So until you run dev to UAT, you won't be able to run UAT to prod. That's what it means. Right, so what we want to do, we want to deploy our demo solution to dev to UAT. You can select now or you can select later. So if you want to schedule a deployment, right, let's say sometimes your client will ask that, okay, I want the deployment outside of the normal business hours, right? So you won't be deploying, let's say 12 a.m 1 a.m ist, right? If that's what your client is asking, so what you can do is you can schedule the deployment as well. So whatever time you want to deploy, you can do that as well. But for now, we'll just select now, click next. All right, it's validating. Might take some time because this is the first time I'm running it. So yeah, okay, perfect. So you can see it's asking us to give a value. UAT test will give this. Video test variable, UAT test, next. And let the AI do its magic. It will generate some deployment notes for you. If you want to, you can modify it, you can add yours as well, or you can just let it be and deploy. So you can see currently deploying version 1, and it's now running dev to UAT. Should not take much time, but let's say at least a minute or so it will take. So I'll quickly just pause the recording until this is deployed, and I'll resume once it's done. Perfect. So you can see now the solution is deployed 6:50 IST, and the moment this latest version is deployed using this deployment stage, you can see the deploy here button is enabled. So once your UAT is done and you have a go ahead that okay, good to deploy to prod, deploy here, click this button, and your solution will be deployed to prod. Now let's quickly check our UAT environment. You can see under managed, our solution should be visible now because we just deployed it. So let's head back to managed. Yeah, okay, you can see now video pipeline solution. If you open it, it's a managed one. Nice little ribbon saying the same thing. It's managed solution. You won't be able to edit the individual components. We know that. Cool. So this is the environment variable. Perfect. So I think yeah, that was it, and I think I showed it in a very clear and concise manner, and now you have just learned how to set up and execute Power Platform pipelines like a boss. So if this video helped you, don't forget to hit like button, subscribe for more tips and tricks, and let me know in the comments if you want an advanced version of this video where I will show you how to extend Power Platform pipelines. And let me know what's your favorite feature of Power Platform pipelines. See you in the next one.